Peace. Great Lakes Podcast, straight like that.
Great Lakes Podcast, tap in, straight like that. Look at that glass, man. You talking about my cup. Great Goose.
Oh, okay.
Goose on the
I thought
loose.
you drank.
Great Lakes Podcast, you already know what it is.
They had that, then they could start making some logical decisions. You know, a lot of times we make decisions without any evidence. You know, we don't have no facts. You know, just kind of what you hear on the street. You know, you might be getting information from you know, Ned the wino. You know, he giving you game. You know, like me. A lot of my game came from guys like that. You know, guys who smoke PCP and was alcoholics. And, you know, I was getting my game from guys like that there. But after I read these books, and I'm telling you about, I found out that we have to pick who we get our information from. We just can't get information from anybody in music. So I felt that they needed this book. And I also, my theory was that the same principles that I used in the dope game, I could use to do whatever I wanted to do. You know,
Anything in the book, does it give a consequence for if you go bad?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, you know, my life, I had a life sentence without the possibility of parole, so it went bad.
Yeah,
Way bad. You know, for like 9 years, 8 years, I had to live with a life sentence. I mean, that ain't that long to live with a life sentence, but to have a life sentence is a lot of pressure.
that is a long time to live. You know, I'm thinking about a life sentence, man.
Yeah, you're thinking about this concrete tomb is your final destination.
Yes,
you know,
right,
like
yeah.
this is where you, this is it for you. You know, you're never gonna get to touch a woman again. You know,
Take me out, man. You know what I'm
the
saying?
only place you're gonna see your kids is in a visiting room. You know, with the scar standing over you with a gun. It's pretty devastating to live like that. You know? And that's what I was under that. So the consequences is definitely there. But also going to the concept is that I started these new principles, and in those principles, I saw that I used some of those principles in the dope game. Unwillingly, unknowingly though. You know, like I was just doing it, and it was just going right. So it was working. It was working, but I didn't know what I was doing. Because now I know that had I known that then, I would just pour it on that principle even harder, you know, and I would have got better results than I even got. So
That kind of leads me to my next question, right? This one where, how does it feel to kind of be the face of maybe the single most destructive thing to the black community, like the crack era in itself?
It's a good question.
Wow, that's a good one. Well, you know, I did
Take
an
your
article.
time, take
I
your
did an
time.
article. I did an article in Chicago. You know, and the girl wrote the article, and she topped the article off. The headline of the article was "No regrets, only lessons." No regrets, only lessons. So I don't really have any regrets about my life,
Right.
but I learned some valuable lessons from what I went through.
Right. Okay.
I learned about the devastation of drugs, what it could do, even if you don't see it from the beginning. Because you know, I saw when I got in, I saw the dope game getting big and making a lot of money, but I didn't understand addiction.
Right.
You know,
Right.
I didn't know that drugs affect some people different than they do others. So I would have to say, you know, no regrets, only lessons. You know?
Exactly. Okay.
In your defense, if it wouldn't have been you, it probably would have been somebody else.
Do you think
More
like
than
that though?
More than likely.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, you know, we used to sell dope. She don't get it from me. She get it from
Somebody else. Exactly. That's
So,
how everybody feels.
You know, we come up with that excuse, which is not really an excuse, you know, because I never should have participated, but I participated out of ignorance.
Okay.
You know, I was ignorant at the time. You know, I never read a book, didn't watch the news. You know what I'm saying? Didn't have no mentor.
I actually seen, not to cut you off, but I seen when you said you felt like that was your calling in life to sell drugs. You said you
Absolutely. You know, anytime you get something you know, you can take care of your family and feed your friends. You know, you feel like, oh, that's a blessing.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, so absolutely, I felt like.
And just now, I'll let you go. But my next question is the greatest of all time. Like everybody say, Mike against LeBron, right? It's a competition thing. Who would you put on your Mount Rushmore of dope dealers? Who's the top four? We're gonna go United States.
So it's four people on Mount Rushmore.
Yeah, it's only four people up there.
I really don't, get a dope that much attention no more. You know, like it ain't something that right now I'm like this internet stuff, man. You know, is where it's at. You know, so I just built a small Amazon. You know, yeah. I'm talking to this young black scientist that came up with a formula that dissolves plastic. Makes plastic go back to its normal. And that's the kind of stuff I'm on right now.
So no Nicky Barnes, no Ray Fair, no Big Meech, none of that.
Man, that don't impress me.
Yeah.
I mean, I look at the dope game as something anybody can do. You know, this new venture that I'm on, that's a challenge for me. You know, how to get my movie done without, white people told me that I'm difficult. So
The people that make the movies and shit told you that?
yeah, the ones who run Hollywood.
Wow.
They told me that I'm a difficult person to deal with.
Damn.
You know, I want to be a part of my movie.
Right.
I want to have a say so in how my movie is played. I don't want my movie to be another Snowfall.
And that was one of my questions.
Yeah, so they don't want me to be a part of it. You know, they come up with some lame excuse. Oh, you had your brother directing and play me like I'm an imbecile.
Okay.
You know, like I wouldn't care about winning an Emmy or a Grammy and all that stuff. I'm gonna win all that. You know, that's what I want. I
You want to be hands-on with your movie.
Well, not necessarily just hands-on, but I want to be a part of it. You know, I want to.
Starring in it or writing it or.
I already helped write it.
Okay.
You know, I helped write it already. Okay. But just to the point to where I think that our people need facts. You know, we've been getting fiction that keep portraying us in this way and that way, and it ain't really the way. I mean, Snowfall got some bits and pieces of real in it, but then it gets so far off that it throws off, and then our kids will bite into that, and that's what they believe is the real.
So as far as Snowfall, I wanted to ask you, was you supposed to be a part of that?
No, me and John Singleton was working together on my story.
Okay.
I wanted a black guy to direct my movie. Okay? I didn't want nobody from a different race. I felt that a black guy would be able to capture our life because he lived like, maybe not totally like us, but he experienced some of the things that a black man would experience. And I was hoping, Antoine Fuqua or one of those guys. I met with all of them, and they just didn't have that same appetite. So we wind up signing a young Chinese kid named Mike Ho. He's gonna be the director now.
Shout out to him. Yeah, shout out to him.
And you know what? I mean, he's black as they come. I mean, he grew
Chinese,
up on
but
hip-hop.
black.
Yeah, he grew up on hip hop.
Yeah.
His mentality is black.
They love our culture.
They love our culture.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so I was shooting a movie up in Detroit called The City That God Forgot.
City That God Forgot. Okay.
Yeah, we was up there shooting that, right? And I get back to the hotel room and I get a phone call and it was Mike. And I was like, "Who is this?" And he was like, "Mike." I said, "Mike who?" He said, "Mike Ho."
Mike Ho.
I said, "Who is Mike Ho?"
Good times, Mike Ho.
I said, "I always answer my telephone because I know somebody owe me $10 million. They're gonna call my phone." Yeah. I don't know who they are, so I answer that. Every time we ring.
Speaking of being owed some money, right? If you can calculate it, it's an estimate as far as the NIL being popular these days in sports, man, image and likeness. All the people that ripped you off, basically. How much you think that you are owed money-wise?
100 million.
100 million. That's what he said. Something to that effect.
100 million, maybe 200.
Maybe
200. I mean, it's hard to even put a value on. The stuff that they've taken. But it's all been good. Because my break is coming. you know. But like I said, we hired Mike. So I was gonna be back in LA that Monday. I told Mike, we'll meet Monday. We go have dinner. So we went out for dinner, man, and it still had my whole story laid out, pictures and everything. It just blew me away. I was like, man. I called Reginald Hutton. I said, man, hire that dude, man. Reginald Hutton is running the point on it. I don't know if you know who Reggie is.
I will after this.
Yeah,
Reggie did House Party.
Okay.
He did House Party, Chango. He just did the last Eddie Murphy movie.
So he wrote the movies or directed them?
He's producing it.
Okay.
He was going to direct, and he said he thought Mike would be a better fit than him, and him himself.
Damn.
Yeah. Reggie, Reggie did the BET, my BET American Gangster.
Okay.
When he was the president of BET, when they did it, he greenlit it. So he was like, man, I miss your story when they did the BET, but I ain't gonna miss it this time. I miss it.
It seems like you built a lot of relationships, whether in prison or outside.
Oh yeah, I stayed on the phone. You know, working that phone. You know, the rappers, directors, writers.
Yeah.
Even inside the pen, you know, we had guys that we wrote with. We wrote books with. You know, my man there that just saying, he said Jimmy Saint. Jimmy Saint wrote 45 books while we was there. And he wrote Black Scarface together, which is a novel. We wrote it together. But yeah, I stayed networking. I mean, I turned the penitentiary in my office.
Wow. That's what's up.
I made the pen work for me. When people just come and bring me information. I had 3 scribes, you know, to sit in my cell and answer all the letters because I used to get so many letters that
You can put a Jesus on it.
He's the scribe.
Yeah, 3 scribes.
I had 3 scribes.
If you don't mind, do you think you could get the people just a little background about the whole drug dealing thing as far as the government being involved in the drugs and the drugs coming into the city?
Yeah, I can. You know,
Everybody, you know that's
I don't
what
like
they
talking
want.
about that stuff.
I know I got family questions and stuff because I ain't want to really focus on that.
Our people, we got to start focusing on how to get to the future.
Exactly,
You know,
exactly.
I tell them I don't remember much of the past,
Exactly.
but I can see the future.
Exactly,
The
yeah.
future is bright.
You don't got them.
No, we can do it. I'll go a little bit, man.
We ain't got to go all the way.
I started the dope game with $125. Before I got arrested, I had days I made as much as $3 million in one day.
Okay. Hey, that's big shit. 3 million.
I got arrested at 28 years old. Well, before that, you know, they created a Freeway task force in LA, and they put like all of the police stations around me, took their most elite drug task force agent and put them together, and they formed what they call the Freeway task force. And these guys, 35 of them, were supposed to catch me. It was their job to catch me.
35 people in the task force?
Yeah, I was telling somebody right there, was like, man, who was the biggest? I said, man, it don't matter who was the biggest. None of them dudes had their own task force.
Right. That's 35 people.
Every day, these cops was assembling to get me. That was their job. When they left the station, their job was to track down Freeway, bring me to jail. So had I not had that, and there was no telling how big I would have gotten in the dope game. But I'm probably lucky that they did because it would have eventually been the feds who came and got me. You know, when they started doing what they, you know, planting drugs and line of search warrants, I moved to Cincinnati. And that's where I caught my first case in Cincinnati. Cincinnati was the first one that brought me down. One of my guys bring me 9 kilos of cocaine from LA because my people was out, and I was calling, man, bring me 9 keys. He bring me 9 keys. He got stopped with the 9 keys, and they ran and found out he was my guy, and they put me on his indictment. I wound up copping a plea in Cincinnati for that case. But yeah, then when I got out from that case, my old drug supplier called me and said he had 700 kilos and he needed help moving them. I wasn't gonna do no dope, right? My mind was not to do dope again, never to do dope again. I said I was never gonna do dope again. But he told me, why don't you hook me up with one of your guys? You know, he knew I had guys that were still in the game and whatnot. So I hooked him up with one of my little young dudes who had grown up when I got home. He was grown up, had some paper. And, he was like, man, let me do it. So I let my little young dude do it. I hooked him up. I got the Aiden in the bed, and they gave us a life sentence. While we were going to trial, he testified, my informant, who was my drug supplier, testified that his boss went on a fishing trip with George W. Bush Sr. And on the fishing trip, he said that Enrique Bermudez told him that George Bush said the ends justified means, saying that their mission was so big that if they had to sell dope, that it was okay to do that.
By any means, okay.
So that's how we found out about the CIA being involved with the whole scenario.
And this is what I wanted to ask you too. Before that happened, you got in trouble. Did you have an end in mind? Like, did you have an amount you was trying to make it to?
I'd already quit selling drugs. I quit selling drugs a year and a half before. When my boy got caught with the 9 keys, I quit.
Okay.
Because I spent like $50,000, $60,000 on lawyers trying to get him out. He still got 20 years.
Dang.
So I said, well, you know what?
Is he out now?
Yeah, he out.
Okay.
I said, this thing is more serious than I thought it was. I don't want to do no 20 years. I'm walking away. So I did walk away about a year and a half. But the way the feds work is they got up to 7 years to indict you for a crime that you commit today. So if you commit a crime today, the feds can indict you 7 years from now.
That's crazy, man. 7 years?
Yeah,
You think you scot-free and bought property? You think you, and they coming to holler at you.
Motel.
Dang.
I had motels, I was building 2 or 3 more motels, tire shop. I had my theater. I was going to build a West Coast Apollo. I was out the game.
Now, speaking of Cincinnati, to lighten it up a little bit, I know we're coming down there. Cincinnati boxing, they're famous for boxing. Aaron Pryor, you got some greats that come out of there.
I knew Aaron.
Yeah. Jumping into the boxing scene, can you tell us about your fighters?
Yeah. I just signed. I had my best year. You know Kid Austin. I found Kid Austin. You know who Kid Austin is?
You're Floyd now, right?
No. His name is Floyd.
Okay.
He was De La Hoya.
Okay.
Yeah, they talking about him maybe fighting Tank or
Dang, that's big.
or Devin Haney or Shakur Stevenson. He's out of Austin, Texas. 21-year-old kid. My contract is up with him now, though. He no longer. We still work together and talk, but he's not signed to me anymore. I'm not on paper. I'm not have anything to do with him on paper. But my work with him showed other fighters that I can get them to the promised land. So this year I signed a kid out of New York, 18-year-old kid named Raleigh. They call him a vegan fighter. He's vegan like me, so yeah. So we vegan. I got another kid.
Get old. What? Get old. You got that's why we got the card.
Jason Moreno out of New Jersey. He's 23 years old. He's 2-0 right now as a professional. Yeah. I'm getting the young kids now. I just signed Jacob, my first Spanish fighter, out of Atlanta. Shai out of North Carolina. I just signed a Korean champ. He's 8-0. I got another guy that went to the semis at the Olympic trials out of Dallas, Texas at 160. Xavier Washington. So I got a nice little group of guys right now that I'm working with. And if I do good with them, within the next 2 or 3 years, I'll have all the top guys coming out of boxing.
Okay, that's what's up.
I'm also working on my own channel. I'm gonna go up against Tubi, Netflix. I'm finna challenge them for that space, and I'm gonna launch my channel with boxing.
Careful, man.
So just all boxing.
Yo,
Be careful taking all the networks over, man.
Or Bill Cosby.
Yeah.
I watched one of your stories on Tubi. Kind of did like Yeah, they got it's like a 2 or 3 hour. I think Freeway. It's called Freeway.
Oh, you talking about the Freeway Boys?
Yeah. It's on Tubi.
My guy did that when I was in prison.
That's excellent. That's excellent. They gave a lot of information about everything you've been through.
Yeah, so I opened my dispensary up, and these two guys came into the dispensary one day, and they was like, "Man, we looking for you." And I was like, "Yeah." And they was like, "We hear that you in the boxing." I was like, "Yeah, I'm in the boxing." They was like, "Well, we've been doing TV for 35 years. We got our own satellite trucks." And I was like, "What? I got your own satellite truck?"
Yeah, that's big.
You know, because I was getting ready to buy a satellite truck. And
How much is something like a satellite truck?
brand new, probably about 300,000. I was gonna buy a used one though.
Dang.
I was gonna get a used one.
Right.
I was gonna get a used one for like I found one for like 65,000. I'm glad I didn't though, because they really complicated. I mean, now that I met these guys, and so now we're gonna launch our own network. They also teach me how to sell commercials, how to get syndicated.
Okay.
You know, I learned that whatever you do, you got to get educated.
Right.
The more education you have, the more, I look back when I first started selling dope, I didn't make no money because I didn't know what I was doing. But at the end of my career, when I was really making the money, I could almost tell you what an ounce went for almost any place in this country. So that was because I'd educated myself. Yeah. So it's the same thing we got to do with whatever we're doing. We got to be educated in whatever moves we make. And that's why I wrote this book, so people can get educated about what they need to be doing to get, in the position that they're trying to get into.
You want to keep talking about boxing?
I got a question. I got a question
Whatever
for
you
you.
want to talk about.
With all the success that you having now, like all the stuff that you into that you just went through, do you feel like you got your name back? Your name?
No. I ain't even touched the surface of what I can do, right? Because I read 300 books while I was doing it. So I got a wealth of knowledge that I have about making money, but I haven't been able to exercise because to go at these ventures, you need money. So I've been chipping away at it, selling books and selling T-shirts to accomplish my ventures, but I haven't been able to really go at it like, if I had a nice bankroll.
Right. Yeah. No, that's real talk.
But with what I'm putting together now, with the movie getting ready to come out, will not come out, but we're doing production. That's going to help. Now people are going to be able to say, "Oh, damn, he owns something."
Right.
And most of the stuff that I do, people can't see it. It's not really seen. Like, you would have had to been with us this week in Cleveland to really understand the effect that, like today, we pulled up, man, and it was about 20 brothers that smoked out, and everybody was just like being helpful to each other, being good to each other, and I was like, man, that's what we need when I ain't around. You know what I'm saying? Like, I get that kind of production when I'm there, but when I ain't there, we need that same type of production. And I believe that once this thing really get to where I know it's about to get to, and it's gonna be there in a minute, I done knocked that weed ball. I done knocked it out the park.
You did bring samples, didn't
No, no, I didn't.
All right, maybe the next run.
Somebody told me they found my brand down here, though. Somebody told me, they said, "Man, I had your brand down here."
What is your brand? What is it?
Right now, I got LA Kingpin.
LA Kingpin.
And I'm coming out with the Candy Gas. That's my next brand is gonna be the Candy Gas.
Okay, LA Kingpin, Candy Gas. So I'll be on the lookout
and
for
my
it.
dispensary, if you go to LA, is Freeway Rick's. Matter of fact, if you would go to Google and give me a Google like.
For sure. Y'all heard it. What's the name of the dispensary?
Freeway Rick's.
Freeway Rick's, y'all. You already
We'll
know.
have to take the show out there, man, just to go visit.
If you have us out, you already know.
Yeah,
I'm
come on,
coming.
let's do it. We can do that.
Right live from there.
Also, I wanted to ask you too, with you being an author and into the books and everything, how did you make it so far in life? You learned to read and write late in life. How did you make it so far? You know what I mean?
Well, I wrestle with that too. I wrestle with why I couldn't read until I was almost 30 years old. Like, wow, what happened? Yeah. And several things probably happened. Nobody really taught me how to sound out my ABCs, my letters, and the stuff that they was telling me to read, well, I wasn't interested in. You know,
That's a big deal.
You gotta be interested in something. When they hand me that indictment, I wanted to know what was on that indictment. So, you know, I went at it like, hey, what's on that thing? Man, I want to know. You know what I'm saying?
Hell yeah.
You gotta have something that's interesting in it. And that's what we gotta start doing with our kids. I know that now, that we gotta give our kids books that they want to read. You know, the schools want to force them to read about Christopher Columbus. They don't want to know about no Christopher Columbus.
Exactly.
You know, I didn't want to know about Christopher Columbus. And the stuff they was teaching us was a lie anyway.
Exactly.
And also, it shows kind of the break in communication in regards to education, right? Because if you can play a good sport, if you're good at sports, back in the 80s, they'll push you through.
Yeah.
Right? And that's what you said.
Still.
Now,
Yeah.
I know that you play tennis, right? And I know that your daughter's a pretty good tennis player right now. If you don't mind me speaking.
Yeah, that's cool.
Does she, when LeBron got his son on the Lakers, right? Michael Jordan, that's Michael Jordan's son. We'll give it a shot. Did she catch any slack or any bad feedback from your past? Or do they just kind of not associate?
She don't care. Okay. She don't even care. You know, my daughters, they something else. You know, they I don't know. You know, it's kind of funny. They be like, "Why people always want to take pictures with you?" So they don't really care about this. You know, they just, she only 12 years old. So she a baby still, and she's kind of shy.
Do you see it in her? She any good? She good?
They say everybody say she good. You know, I know she'll beat me now.
That's good.
So that's pretty good.
Yeah.
But you know, the coaches I got working with work with Venus and Serena.
Wow, that's big. That's big.
So, but all y'all from there, right? Like LA area, right?
Yeah, all of us. And Venus and Serena played at the same park I used to play at. So she got a shot. You know, if she stick with it and take it serious, yeah.
I gotta get this in for my wife, Miss Mika.
Go ahead.
Shout out, baby. Love reimagine with Miss Mika. This is my brother. Gotta get it. What she wanted to know? She wanted to know if the person, your wife that you're with now, is the same person that you was with when you went inside.
No.
And the second half of that, when you do say love, was it hard to kind of reimagine love or kind of like get into where a relationship mind state after you have been gone so long?
That's a good one.
Not really, no. I mean, you know, as a man, you know, we need a woman.
Facts.
You know, we need a woman. We can't do without them. I mean, you know,
that.
they say you can't live with them, can't live without them.
Exactly.
No, I didn't. I mean, that's the one thing I missed about being in jail. You know, that there was no women there. I mean, they put women in jail, I can go back. No. That's the only thing I missed. I'm gonna be honest with you. Jail was not something that stressed me out. It wasn't.
I heard Mike Tyson say that.
I mean, even when
Jail didn't stress him.
When I found out about reading and I could better myself there, I didn't have a little time in the day. You know, it was like my time just started going by really, really fast, and it was like, you finna be out of here. You know, I've been told the guys when I was getting ready, you know, we used to be joking on the way pod, and I'd be like, man, I'm gonna enjoy these last couple weeks, and I ain't never get to do this again. This is an experience, you know, and it's an experience that a lot of people would never get to experience, and I experienced that, and I got through it.
Exactly. Yeah.
9/29/24. I know that means something.